Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Mary and I make crochet related videos, and today I'm showing you guys how I made this skirt. I call it a skirt but technically it's a skirt because it has built-in shorts. I first showed you guys this pattern just over a year ago, and even though I did film a tutorial at that time, I lost the footage. I didn't have it in me to start again, but I finally did, and I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. It's super fun, it's quite repetitive, and you can crochet it quite mindlessly. And with no further ado, let's get right into the tutorial. To start our skirt, we're going to make double crochet foundation rows. These are non-negotiable because the foundation row is what keeps the waistband stretchy enough to go around the widest part of your hips. So to start, we're going to make a slip knot. And then we're going to chain 3. So yarn over and pull through. So now we have 3 chains. For our first foundation double crochet, you want to yarn over and insert your hook into the first chain. Now pull up a loop. We're going to pull through the first loop, and this creates our chain. And now we're going to make our double crochet as normal. So yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 2. So to continue foundation double crochet rows, what we'll do is yarn over and insert our hook into the chain 1. As you can see, I'm inserting my hook into the front and the back. So you can just go through this stitch here, but it does look better if you go through this stitch and this one at the back. Like so. Once you're here, yarn over and pull through. Pull through one more. That's your chain 1 across the bottom. And then finish your double crochet like normal. One more time, yarn over, insert your hook into the front and the back loops. Yarn over, pull through 1, and then a double crochet as normal. And you're going to continue this until you have a ribbon that you want to make it the tightest you can while still fitting over the widest part of your hips. After you've made your chain as long as you need it to be, make sure it stays flat, and we're going to bring it back around to begin working in the round. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make a slip stitch to the top of this chain 2. So to start the row, we're going to chain 2. This chain 2 is associated with this double crochet. So to start, we're going to do a front post double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook behind the double crochet stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 2. And now we're going to put a double crochet in the very next stitch here. So now we're going to leave this stitch and we're going to do our next front post double crochet around this purple one here. So yarn over, insert your hook around the stitch, pushing it forward, and then make a double crochet. Again, we're going to make our next double crochet into the very next stitch here. And our front post will go around here. our normal double crochet goes in the very next available stitch. And as you can see, we're forming this really pretty ribbed effect. So continue doing this all the way around until you reach the other end. So now we're coming to the end of the row and placing one double crochet in the final stitch. But your final stitch can be a front post double crochet or normal double crochet, that's totally fine. And to finish this row, what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch to the top of this chain. So now continuing, we're going to chain 2. This first stitch is raised, so we're going to continue that pattern. So yarn over, we're doing a front post, and then finish your double crochet as normal. And then in our next stitch, it's just a normal stitch. Another front post double crochet here. And a normal double crochet in the next stitch. Maintain this pattern until you reach the end of the row. And just like the previous row, to finish up, place a slip stitch in the top of there. So for my skirt, I only wanted my waistband this thick, but if you want a thicker waistband, you can just repeat that last row until you reach the size you want. Once you've done that, we're going to finish off the row with single crochets and front post single crochets. So to start, we're going to chain 1, and our very first stitch was a front post, so we're going to maintain that. You want to insert your hook the same way you did with the front post double crochets, except this time just make a single crochet. And in our next stitch, we'll do a normal single crochet, and then another front post single crochet. So as you can see, this brings it to a nice close. And again, continue this all the way around your work until you reach the start of your row again. And then to finish our row, we're going to make a slip stitch to the top of our first stitch as always. So that is the waistband finished. And we're now going to start working on the body of the skirt. To start, we're going to chain 4. And we're going to be using a stitch I like to call a double extended double crochet. So to start, yarn over and insert your hook into your first stitch. Pull up a loop as normal, and this is where the stitch differs. So we're going to pull through the first loop, then the next 2, then the first loop, and then the last 2. And again, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop. Now pull through 1, pull through 2, pull through 1, and pull through 2. This creates a stitch that sits into each other quite nicely, so it's not too see-through, but also has a little bit of length. And just continue making it all the way around the skirt until you reach our chain 4. So now we finished the row. As always, we're going to make a slip stitch into the top stitch to finish the row. But to make this seem a little bit more straight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 4 as usual. But when I start my row, I'm going to skip this first stitch and start crocheting in the next. I'm going to crochet all the way around and then crochet into this skipped stitch at the end of the row. What this does is it helps keep this middle stitch in this right space. And what you will do is you'll alternate the row I showed you at the beginning and this special row, and what that will do is it will keep your seam straight down the middle. Now I'm coming to the end of my row. I'm going to do my double extended double crochet in this stitch. And now I'm going to place one extended double crochet in the stitch we skipped at the beginning. And now I'm going to make a slip stitch to the top of our first stitch as usual. As you can see, this helps to keep the seam right where it was where we started. So now you can chain 4 and start your row as we normally do. So your double extended double crochet will go in this first stitch, and you'll alternate a normal row and a crossed row like this until you reach the length you want for your shorts. I have made 16 rows, so this covers my crotch. If you don't want to make internal shorts, you can make this a little bit longer and then just skip to where we start making the tiers of the skirt. For those who want to make a skirt, what you'll do is you need to crochet a chain that's about 4.5 inches or enough to reach under your crotch to the other side comfortably. For me, I did 24 chains, and once you've done that, you can slip stitch into the back side of your shorts. You can count around the legs to make sure they're all the same distance, or you can do it by eye. Set your hook into that stitch and make a slip knot. Now chain 4. I'm going to continue making our double extended double crochets all the way around the piece. So we're going to start by working around the back of the chain because we want to maintain the stitch front. So as you can see in this first stitch here, make your first double extended double crochet. And continue making it all the way down the chain. And now as we come to the end of the chain section, finish your double extended double crochet and continue working along this side. Make your double extended double crochets all the way around until you meet this stitch here. Make your slip knot and continue making the rows as we did with the main section of the body. So after 5 rows, I've now reached the perfect length for my shorts. So I'm now going to finish it by doing an edging. This is totally optional and you can just fasten off here. But if you want the scallop edging like mine, what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip the stitch I slip stitch into. And in this stitch here, I'm going to do 5 half double crochets. So now I'm going to skip 1 stitch and make a slip stitch into the next. So now I'm going to put 5 half double crochets into the next stitch. I'm not skipping anything, just right into the next stitch here. And then I'm going to skip 1 stitch and slip stitch into the next. And again, I'm not skipping any stitches. In the next stitch, 5 half double crochets. After 5, skip 1 stitch. And I'm going to continue doing that all the way around the short leg. So for my second leg, I'm going to attach my yarn around 2 stitches before the chain starts. And chain 4. I'm going to start with 1 double extended double crochet in the same stitch. Again in the next. And I'm also going to go into this stitch here. So now I'm going to continue crocheting along the chain, and you're just going to continue making this short leg the same way you did the first one, and if you chose to do an edging, repeat it the same way on this side of the leg as well. So what I did is I tried the shorts on and I put stitch markers where I wanted the 2 tiers to go. If you're wanting 3 tiers, more tiers, whatever, you could even have a tier starting right up at the waistband if you wanted to. Just mark those stitches and those rows accordingly. So to start this row, you need to start with the waistband facing you. So turn your work around. So we're working into the stitch like this one that I've marked with my stitch marker. So one here, the next one is here, and the next one here and here. We're going to be using drop stitches, so it's best to use yarn that's straight off the ball if possible. If not, you can steam your piece after the fact, and that should help loosen out the drop stitches. For this base row, we're going to be using double crochets, and we're going to do 15 double crochets and then an increase row. So to start my row, I'm going to find where my seam is, and that's right here, and I'm going to start here. So start with a slip knot, and we're going to chain 3. And now we're going to do 15 double crochets in these loops. So I'm going to start one double crochet, and again find our next stitch, which is right here, yarn over. I also like to crochet in the tail. And again, just so you can see, this is the stitch we're going into. So now I've done 15 double crochets. I'm going to do 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And continue doing 1 double crochet in the next 15 stitches, and then an increase after that 15th stitch. Repeat this pattern until you reach the end of the row. So I'm just going to finish my row with 2 double crochets in the last stitch, and then I'm going to slip stitch to the first double crochet of the row. And this is where our drop stitches start. So for my skirt, I use this oyster card, but you can use like a credit card, a debit card, anything like that if you want the same length as mine. If you wanted shorter drop stitches or longer drop stitches, you can always use a piece of cardboard. So to start our drop stitches, you're just going to chain 1 and pull up a loop that can go around the card. I like to hold on to this with my pinky finger and index. And in our next stitch, insert your hook. You're going to pull up a loop and chain 1, and then slide that onto your card as well. In the next stitch, insert your hook and chain 1. And you're going to continue doing this all the way around the skirt. So now coming up to the final stitch, we're going to make it as usual. So the last stitch is a little bit different. You keep it on the card. You're going to pull your working yarn up, and you're going to make a chain 1 and your first double crochet while this is still on the card. And what this does is it just keeps this stitch the correct length, so you don't have to worry about that. I like to put a stitch marker in the top of this stitch. And now for the next row, all you're going to do is pick up the loop and make half double crochets into it. and this is what it will start to look like. So continue going all the way around the skirt and making half double crochets into every stitch. Once you've done your half double crochet in the last stitch of the row, you can slip stitch to our first half double crochet. And that completes the first row of drop stitches. The second row we're going to work in a very similar way, except this time we're going to do an increase on every 5th drop stitch. So start by making a chain and pulling up your loop. So 1. After you make 5 drop stitches, we're going to make 2 in the next stitch. So that's 1, and back into the same stitch for our second one. So now we've done 5 drop stitches, we're going to put in 2 in the next stitch. So 1, and 2. And continue like this all the way around the skirt again, and then we'll do a row of half double crochets once more. So once again we've come to the end of the row, and to finish this row we're going to do a chain 1 and start our half double crochets. And again, same as the previous row, just place 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way around. So now finish your row with a slip stitch and chain 1, and we're doing, for my skirt, we're doing 1 more row of drop stitches, and this time you're going to do an increase after 4 drop stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this will be my increase stitch, so 2 in this stitch. And we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around the skirt. Now we're going to start working on the ruffles. So to start, we're going to chain 4, and we're going to make tall double crochet stitches. And what this is, it's a double crochet as normal. When you pull up your first loop, you want to pull it really tall, pull through, and also pull the second one up a little bit. So you have a double crochet that's slightly puffier and taller than average. Once again, when you insert your hook, pull up, make it tall, and make the second half tall as well if you need to. You're going to do 3 of these in each stitch to create the ruffles. And once you come to the end of the row, just make a slip stitch to the first tall double crochet. From there, you can start making your second row. So my second row is 6 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, from the waistband. And between the 2 rows, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows So repeat everything you did for the first tier on the second one. If you're like me and your waist to hip ratio is quite wide, you might have to do what I did and put 2 slip stitch rows of elastic thread around the top and bottom of the waistband. And what this will do is it will cinch in the waist while you're wearing it for a really nice fit. But you could also add a drawstring through the loops of the front post double crochets as well, if that's more your style. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I want to take a minute to thank you guys for 4,000 subscribers. I'm genuinely so honoured that 4,000 people have watched my channel, found something useful and wanted to stay along for the journey. If you found this tutorial useful, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe as well. It means that I can continue making this content for free for you guys and you won't miss out on any new patterns. If you do make your own skirt, I would love to see it. I'm at crochetforthegirlies on Instagram, TikTok and Pinterest. You can tag me in any of those places and I would be so excited to see your finished bakes. That's all from me and I will see you in the next one. Bye!